Hey, gorgeous love. So I want to dive into body consciousness, your body codes, the light that flows through your body in accordance to business and work, and how your body may be speaking messages to you while you're working, and how to listen to some of those messages. So the thing with life and everything is every single thing is always an energy exchange. Every single thing that you do is an energy exchange. So whether there's an energy exchange between you and your client, an energy exchange between you and money, an energy exchange between you and the conversations that happen with your business matrix, with your money matrix, there's different streams and different flows of relationships that are happening throughout your business world. And so one of the ways that your body will communicate with you around business things is, if you're suddenly getting shoulder pain, or if you're getting neck pain, or if you're getting back pain, all those things are aspects of your business kind of wanting to talk to you. So if you're doing your business in specific ways, you might notice that there's tension in your shoulders, or you're feeling a headache, or you're feeling, or little things like twisting your ankle, or hitting your wrist on something. Sometimes we think that that is a big coincidence, and that it doesn't really have anything to do with how we're showing up in our business. But a lot of times, because we're spending so much time in our business, we get to kind of decode and see, okay, why is that showing up in my world? Why is this tension showing up? Why is my tummy hurting? Why is there soreness in my legs? And there's so many times when I have my clients that tell me wow, oh my gosh, just those 3 seconds of chatting, all of a sudden that pain is totally gone. And just 2 days ago, I had a client that was like, whoa, I was having this hip pain, and we did a couple messages and we tuned in, and then it just shifted out and it was totally gone. So I want to kind of go over just a few tips that you can tune into when you find that your body is giving you messages and speaking to you. So for instance, the first one is, let's say shoulders. Shoulders seems to be one that a lot of people tend to feel, right? So shoulders, when you're feeling that tension in your shoulders, or you're feeling the tension in the neck, then you're gonna feel this, maybe you're being too responsible. Maybe you're feeling like you're too responsible, or the people around you are too responsible. There's some type of imbalance in the responsibility aspect. And so that's gonna create some tension in the shoulders. Another aspect is the back. If you're feeling back pain, you want to check into, are you feeling supported? Do you feel like other people are supporting you? Where do you feel like that's kind of off balance in your world? And a lot of times when we start to journal and we dig in, then we're going to see where that comes from. The sticky part is sometimes it's not from this lifetime. Sometimes it's from a past life. Sometimes it's from a multidimensional life. Sometimes it's other people's energies that are kind of invading your energy. So you kind of want to check in. And the thing is, your body is really brilliant. And when you really understand how to do this, it's almost like you become a detective. You become a detective, and you get to check in with your body, and you get to check in with, okay, does this feel right? Does this feel good? How do I feel here? How do I feel here? Right? And so one of the first questions is to ask yourself, okay, if this is not feeling good, is it from this lifetime? Is it actually even from this lifetime? And if it's from this lifetime, what's the age period? And a lot of times, your subconscious will just bring up a number. So allow yourself to just bring that number up, whatever the number is, and just trust it. Go with it. It doesn't have to be real per se. Just let your mind kind of play here. And so it may say something like, okay, it was age 3. And then you can ask yourself, okay, at age 3, what happened? What was going on then? And then if you kind of dig deep, then you're going to see, oh, that 3-year-old maybe just had a story to share with you. Maybe there was something that part of you just wanted to tell you and let you know. And what happens if you ask and it says, oh, it was a past life? Then you can say, okay, well, how many lifetimes ago? And usually it'll just give you a number, and you kind of just go with the number, trust the number. And a lot of times a visualization will kind of just pop up. And usually once the complete story is shown, so if the pain is still there, it might be something that you're just not seeing yet. So if the pain is still there, ask that part of you, what else do you need to see? What's the actual message from this? And just keep exploring, right? And a lot of times once that whole story is seen, the pain will dissipate and dissolve. The emotions will kind of dismantle and clean up. So it's a really fun process to really just to get to know your body a little bit more. But really, your body is speaking to you and talking to you all the time. And so when you learn to flow with it, so for instance, for me, when I'm really on track, like I feel a lot of cooling in my spine. I'll feel like the Kundalini energy just like flow up into my spine and up through my crown. And a lot of times when that's happening, then it's like, even if I'm not getting any external feedback that I'm on track, that cooling in the spine lets me know, okay, this is the right direction. Okay, this is what I'm meant to be doing right now. Okay, let's go all in. Even though I'm not sure where this is going, let's go all in, right? And I'm like, hi, Austin. And the next piece is a lot of times when you really tune into learning how to listen to your body will become more automated. It will kind of just be like, hey, let's do this in this order. And your workflow just becomes a lot faster. Some of us have a stronger sense of touch. Some of us have a stronger sense of smell. Like everyone has a stronger sense in a different area. And so when you kind of tune in and you know like, okay, that's the sense that is the strongest for me. For instance, for me, sense of touch is my strongest sense of touch. So, and that's according to Human Design. You can look into myhumandesign.com. But because sense of touch is my strongest, then before I work on anything, I might, like just feel into my notebooks or feel into my books, or I might just feel into my computer and just using my sense of touch. Or if I'm seeing a client, when I see a client, if it's an in-person client, I get a lot of information from my hands. And so when you really understand and know your body and you know your senses and you know how to tune into your intuition, it really speeds things up. So instead of having to do things in a logical way that may create stress patterns in your body, because what's happening when your body feels pain, when it feels discomfort, when you're moving in a specific direction, that just means somewhere there's something that's jammed. That means the energy field is compressed or jammed up somewhere. And so you want to be able to know when that is happening. So we can also break this down in different human design types. So for instance, for me, I'm a generator. So as a generator, I'm really meant to lean back. My aura is kind of like extra big, so it just like it's enveloping and it receives. And I notice when I'm trying to push something, then it feels like a contraction in my tummy. It feels like I'm like, oh, what am I trying to push? Like, so it doesn't feel good. And so if it doesn't feel good, then I know like, uh-oh, I'm trying to push something right now. But then when it feels really good, I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels so great. Then I know that I'm like lean back. And again, that feeling good is just from your body. It doesn't necessarily mean there's anyone in the external world mirroring back to you, letting you know like, hey, you're doing a good job. So that's the hard part, is like, how do you listen to that piece, right? So the next thing is, so the thing with the generator is you're not necessarily manifesting. You're really just responding to things in the right sequence so that the thing that you want vibes in a lot faster. So it's really about, how do I stay that lit up feeling? Because the generator takes up so much space. The generator is like really expansive, a lot of energy, it takes up a lot of space. And so the more that you feel that energy, the more that you're actually being of service to the people around you, because your energy is lit up. That means your battery is charged up. And so if your battery is charged up, that energy is being emitted outward. So when you notice you're trying to force something or push something, you'll feel that contraction. And that just means that the energy is flowing in a way that's not really aligned for your system. And that's okay. It's just feedback. So then you're like, okay, I just tried to do that. That really didn't feel good. And really it's because when you're communicating like that, it kind of doesn't feel good for the other person either. And so on some micro level, you're kind of hearing or feeling their response to you, right? And so that's something fun to play with as a generator. How can you kind of lean back, receive more, trust your aura is going to bring in the right people, the right people at the right time, all the things that you're wanting, all those things. And if you're a projector, it's more about the invitation. It's more like, okay, you were just invited to this, and you were invited to this, and you were invited to this. How can you say yes or no to the right invitations? And that also creates a flow for you. It's almost like, the whole universe is kind of like in zeros and ones, and it's like open, invitation, closed, open, closed. And you get to flow into like, okay, is that an open for me? Is that a close? Is that an open for me? Is that a close? And so it's similar to the generator in a way that it's kind of responding, but the invitation, there's an opening, right? There's like the universe is like, hey, here's an opening here. Do you want to place your energy here or not, right? So that's really fun as well. And just remember, the projector is here to like bring guidance and advice and really guide the energy in a specific way. And so really when we learn to like tune into our bodies and tune into these tiny little energetic frequencies, then we get to feel into like, oh, this is actually generative. Like this is actually generating and creating more energy. This is actually generating and creating more light. And when you're creating more light, that's where like the sparkle turns on, where your whole body is like, wow, this feels so good. There's like this sparkle that lights up, right? And if you're a manifester, so the manifesting generator kind of operates like the generator. And the manifester is more of the initiation energy. And it's more like, hey, I want to come in and initiate. And it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be forceful. It's just like initiating. And so as we begin to like understand our energy types and we begin to understand ourselves, we can really begin to do business in a different way. We can do business in a way that just lights us up. We're like, oh, that's so much fun. I want to do it that way. Oh, that like really makes me feel good. Instead of like, oh, I have to do it this way because everybody else does it that way, or this is the way that I was taught, And so there's a lot of decoding that gets to happen for us in a society of, okay, like, is that really what we want? All the pressure that we're creating, or, when your emotional body is like super off, like, is that actually what we want to create as a society? Or do we all want to take time, decode, clean up some of the old programming? There's a lot of ancestral past life programming around work having to be really hard, right? And so it's our job to go through, clean up the portals, clean up the channels. And as you're moving forward, even if you're moving forward in the right direction, sometimes you're gonna feel like emotional, or you're gonna feel sad, or you're gonna feel stagnant, or whatever emotions come up. And just know, because as you're moving really, really fast, your old frozen emotions are gonna come up to be processed as well. And so that's where in the beginning of this live, I was talking about some tools, because the faster you can tune into that and just know like, oh, like if instead of lingering to the sadness, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so upset. And you think it's this external thing that maybe triggered you. Instead of thinking that it's that, you get to go in, be a detective, look at the message. Is it from this lifetime? Is it from another lifetime? What's actually happening there? And always come from the space of, if I knew that the universe was working for me, like if everything was in alignment for me and it was working for me right now, why is this situation coming up? How is it actually helping me? How can I transform the story that I'm telling myself? Because in your mind, something's happening and you may tell yourself like this interesting story, Actually, just the other day I had someone that was like, like I never put the numbers up. I don't want the numbers up when I'm doing a live because it kind of distorts how I'm thinking about it. And I can totally see how that would create some emotions and stories, right? Because you're thinking like, oh my gosh, like there's only one person on this live, or there's only two people. But just remember, it's like, if you came back to that thought of every single thing is happening for me. So for instance, like right now I have 0 people on this live, but I feel like really committed to this because it was like, I felt really lit up. I'm like, okay, Cosmos says I have this message to share today about evolving your body and how to evolve it in your business. And so I get the instruction, I commit, I follow through, whether I'm seeing that external result or not. And then I trust that whoever is meant to see this at the divine time, that this will come in for them and that this will be the perfect message for them, that it will be exactly what is meant for them to experience at the time, right? And so begin to imagine a whole new world with your business. Like, what if you have so much more fun? What if you have so much more creativity? What if when you're having your team meetings or you're, connecting with your colleagues, your teammates, what if everything just felt so much lighter and each person on your team felt a lot more seen because you realize like, okay, each person has a unique energy type and each person has a unique way where this is how they feel lit up, or this is how they feel recognized, and this is how they feel seen. Or, for instance, the generator, you ask them yes/no questions, but yes/no questions for the manifestor can really jam up their system. So knowing the communication style to really turn you on, but also to turn you and your client on. Maybe, you have a high-end client, and just knowing a few things about how their energy type works, or how is their body sharing some secret messages, the tiniest little contractions, like what is it actually saying? What is it actually telling you? And, by being a better detective, being able to, see more, ask ourselves better questions, tune into more. I really feel like it's a huge tool for us, for our evolution and for the evolution of all of our businesses, right? And so anyways, so we have Sparkle Academy. It starts tomorrow at 1:11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So there's so much time to sign up. And if you're interested, just check the link in my bio, and I would really, really love to be on this adventure with you. I feel like so far the Vortex is amazing. We have like the most extraordinary women in there right now, but men are absolutely welcome as well. And we're gonna ignite tomorrow. There's really beautiful modules. I was just kind of like channeling it this whole week, and I can't even explain like how on cloud 9 I felt. Like my whole body just felt lit up, and I felt like I had these like really beautiful energy beings come visit me as I was writing it. And so it was just like such a beautiful process of channeling, downloading, like listening. Really, like every moment I was like, all right, universe, like what's next? And I'm just so in the moment in this process. And everybody has a different work style. Everyone works a little bit differently. And the beauty of this process was, I'm teaching people about the work process. So this was like next level. I was like seeing on a micro level of, oh, this is how I tune into the moment, how I tune into the power of the moment. And this is the flow that's correct for me. This is versus like the flow that we've been taught to be correct in. And so when I see the program, it's not really a program to teach you to do something in a new way. It's really to teach you how to listen to your body so that you can do things in the most innovative, the most creative way, because the way that you do something, the unique way that you do something, those are the micro signals that you're sending out to the universe. And that's why it's so important for your own unique creativity to be able to flow through. And so the whole course is about supporting us in decoding and deconditioning and cleaning it out so that your spontaneous creativity flows through and your spontaneous way of connecting flows through. And at first, as you're decoding, it can be a little sticky because it's like learning a foreign language, but as it picks up speed and momentum, it gets more and more fun and life gets more and more easy. So again, I'm just inviting you into this beautiful portal. It's going to be 11 days. We're going to be live every single day from tomorrow, February 22nd to March 4th. And every day we're going to be on live, 1:11 p.m. in a Facebook group. Already beautiful, extraordinary women in there so far. So even just the connections are just going to be very, very lit. I'm so excited about it. And yeah, I'm just so I feel so blessed to be on the planet at this time. I feel like, and I'm so blessed to have so many gorgeous coaches around me right now too, coaches and mentors. And, you know, I know a lot of you out there are coaching and mentoring, and I'm just like, yay, get it. We're really here to reboot our inner software system together, right? Because there's so much more fun, so much more joy, so much more bliss, so much more peace that we all get to experience as a collective, and it's us doing the work every day, every client, every moment, and I'm just celebrating you. And please message me if you have any questions, or if you're curious about what we're going to be doing this week, and or if you're feeling the vibe. Just sending you so many happy Sunday sparkle lights. Hope to talk to you soon. Ciao.